Sitting right next to me is an Amazon-based multi-speed immersion blender. Priced under $30, it doesn't offer much, just a 500-watt motor inside a stainless steel body and an entry-level blending stick. With high expectation, the blender promises to save time, improve the blending experience, and even make cooking more enjoyable. Does it actually work as advertised? Or is there something we are missing? We're about to put it through its paces and find out. I'm Tina and welcome back to our Shouldit blender series. And now time for performance testing. But before we dive into that, make sure to check out how Shouldit test immersion blenders. That way you can get a better understanding of our testing process and the reasoning behind it. And with that said, the very first test is hot soup puree. To prepare for the test, we pressure cook chicken broth, onion, celery, pumpkin, and carrot until they were tender. The soup's temperature was carefully maintained between 136 and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Then we blended the mixture at the blender's highest speed for 30 seconds. When running at maximum speed, the Amazon-based motor activated quickly. The blades moved through the beaker, ensuring the ingredients circulated and preventing chunks from settling at the bottom. In the end, the texture turned out rich and velvety, with the pumpkin and carrot giving it a creamy thickness. The mesh strainer caught some remaining solids. Still, they were so tiny that you could hardly feel them on your tongue. Frankly speaking, this was a very impressive outcome for a low-range blender. Hot soup puree, 8.5 out of 10. The next challenge was a frozen smoothie composed of frozen mango, frozen pineapple, a handful of kale, and water. Not many hand blenders in the market could break down solid frozen fruits into smaller chunks, let alone turn them into a smooth combination. That's why we were really shocked by the Amazon-based efficiency in this task. The moment we powered the blender on, it caught everything right away. But most impressive was how the blades pulled fruits and liquid into a steady vortex without getting stuck or making a heart-grating noise. In general, it took 1.5 minutes to cut through on the fruits. These were pretty quick, comparable to top-tier models. Sometimes we had to pause, stir, and push the clinging food down the blade guard. But everyone does this in the real kitchens, so for us, it's not a hassle at all. Smoothie, 7.8 out of 10. Our third experiment focused on mayonnaise with the mixture consisting of 3 egg yolks and 240 milliliters of oil. To our surprise, the Amazon-based delivered a result that was more than satisfying. At low speed, the blades created a nice vortex that pulled the yolk upward and started incorporating the oil. The mixture thickened gradually, and you can see the transformation as it shifted from a runny yellow liquid into a creamy emulsion. After 1 minute and 50 seconds, our mayonnaise came out pretty close to perfect. Spreadable and spoon-smooth, it was thick enough for structure, yet soft enough to melt in your mouth. Similar to the second test, we had to pause the blender mid-blend to manually return any food sticking to the sides into the blade switch. But again, this wasn't a big deal from our side. Mayonnaise, 8.5 out of 10. Test 4 has us making almond milk, starting with 1 cup of raw almonds and 3 cups of filtered water. We blended the ingredients at full speed. in the 24-ounce beaker, striving for the perfect consistency. Our milk ended up with a fair creaminess and a noticeable hint of almonds. That said, we found it really frustrating to let this blender work in a liquid-heavy mixture. It was literally impossible to lift or move the blending stick even when the blender was running at the lowest setting. And unless we paused the process to press the suction before continuing, the blender only pulverized in place rather than pulling the rest of the almonds down the blade zone. Such a problem aside, however, this was a commendable performance of the Amazon basis, given the short operating time it took to deliver that decent outcome. In practice, we spent around 1 minute on this task. Almond milk, 8 out of 10. In the final test, we whipped 100 milliliters of egg whites to determine how well the blender performs as a hand mixer. As you can see, our Amazon basis didn't succeed in this test, but this limitation was expected. Out of more than 30 hand blenders we tested, only those coming equipped with the whisk could generate a stable stiff. The blending stick of this blender is simply designed for cutting and mixing, not trapping and stabilizing the bubbles. Eventually, instead of smooth, firm peaks, the egg whites remained thin and watery. Whipped egg whites, 0 out of 10. Based on the results of all 5 tests, the Amazon basis multi-sweet received an overall rating of 7.8 out of 10 for performance. Let's talk about the design and what stands out. So, the Amazon basis multi-sweet is an affordable hand blender with average performance and limited versatility. True to its name, the blender's design is at its most basic. You get only original style, standard features, and fair build quality. After the course of testing in our kitchen, it still operates at its ease, but its exterior has been showing early signs of discoloration and a few fine scratches. And when it comes to long-term use, we could say we're not totally convinced. Overall, considering its low cost, the blender's efficiency falls within an acceptable range. If you're looking only for a basic hand blender that fulfills very common tasks like pureeing hot soup, blending smoothie, and emulsifying sauces, this Amazon basic blender is generally a reasonable option. That's it for our review of the Amazon basis multi-sweet immersion blenders. You can find more details through the link in the description or explore all the options in our Shouldit blender series. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you catch our upcoming reviews. Thanks for watching Shouldit and see you in the next video. Bye!